And so if your ratio is more than or close to 1.6, you're good looking. एक बार मैं talk दे रहा था इंडिया में, तो I asked the student that, okay, can you tell me how to quantify good look? Actually, one student knew that this is what it is. The other student said that, well, one indication of good looks could be, how often do you get called for a date? Nobody asks you for a date, then you're not good looking. But a lot of people are asking you to take you out for a date, and then obviously you are good looking. So one could quantify. I think we can debate how to quantify that. But then it's important to convert that word story into a number story. And then I'll get into a few case studies if I can have the time. I don't know how much time I will need to go through this. So community engagement. There are the 3 C's which make community engagement, and the 3 C's are collaboration, consultation, and communication. All these are the 3 pillars of community engagement. There should be a desire in you to collaborate. Some people, they just like to close their door and put a note outside, don't disturb, and you just keep doing your work. You are not interested in any collaboration. Some people are very open. They do want to collaborate with others. I was giving a talk at ComSet yesterday, and I said that a few months back, we got a huge grant. Even I was surprised by that grant. $34 lakh की हमें 5 साल की grant मिली है. $34 lakh, if you can do the conversion like what it is, $34 lakh. But then, if a bunch of statisticians get together and try to write a grant, हो सकता है 34 penny ना मिले. But this grant involved people from biology, people from psychology, people from math, people from computer science, people from statistics. So that collaboration is very important. So that's the first pillar of community engagement, consultation. And that's very important. You ought to be able to consult, provide consulting. Say doctors, lawyers, वो तो consultation देते ही हैं. You'll be surprised that many statistic professors, they have a consulting business actually. And the consulting income is more than their salary. And people seek consulting from them and they have their rate. Like a cardiologist has a consulting rate. A statistic professor also will have a consulting rate. And some professors will charge as much as even $1,000 per hour. You go and consult, you'll be billed. When I go to a court to present my findings in a court case, I charge $300 per hour. That's considered generally a very low rate, but I'm happy with that. So consultation, you should be willing to engage in that. Communication is very important. If you want to do community engagement and you are an introvert, then forget. It's not going to happen. You ought to be able to communicate, and you ought to be able to communicate both orally and in writing. But then I'm adding a third angle to it. An important part of communication is listening. If you are a bad listener, then you are not going to be successful as a consultant. अब डॉक्टर के पास आते हो, डॉक्टर आपकी बात ठीक से सुनता ही नहीं है, आपकी प्रॉब्लम कुछ और है, वो इलाज कुछ और ही कर रहा है. इसीलिए उसी तरह statistical consultant, somebody comes to you with a problem and you don't understand what the problem is, and you try to provide a solution to something which is okay, which is a correct solution, but correct solution to the wrong problem. अब में से कितनों को पता है टाइप 3 एरर, टाइप 1 एरर, टाइप 2 एरर तो सबको पता है, ठीक है ना? टाइप 1 एरर क्या होती है, टाइप 2 एरर क्या होती है? How many of you know what is type 3 error? Type 3 error is correct solution to the wrong problem. That's type 3 error. And that's the last thing a consultant wants to do. A consultant wants to listen to the problem carefully and then try to answer that question. And you should be willing to tell the client that, I'm sorry, this is not my area. You go and talk to someone, just like a medical doctor or a lawyer. You're not expert on something. Don't be afraid, don't be embarrassed to send the person somewhere else. I take a broad view of community. Community, like your street also is a community, your town is a community, your school is a community. So community is people around you. Now, if you stay kind of local, then you're dealing with on-campus community. There are a lot of people on campus who form that community. The faculty from other departments, graduate students working on their theses, dissertations, they are also community. They need your help. And can you provide help to them? Pure professors, probably they cannot help that much. But statistics professors, the opportunity is very ripe. Because everyone these days who is doing research is generating data. And that's why sitting here, and I've been telling her for a long time, I don't know what is a long time, that create a consulting center on your campus. And I'm so happy that finally our College for Women, they started a consulting center. Those campuses which don't have a consulting center, I think are missing something. You need to establish a consulting center and then have people, faculty, or even graduate students available there who can help. And who are these people who come seeking help? Faculty, they come to you seeking help. They're working on a research problem, they have data, they don't know what to do with it. And you can help them. Graduate students, they're stuck on their thesis, dissertation, you can help them off campus. Medical doctors, they need help all the time. They generate all kinds of data. Once I got called by a medical doctor that I have a data set and I need your help to analyze it. I said, how large is your data set? He said, I have 3 data points, just 3. I said, what do I do with your 3 data points? So why do you have 3? Why don't you have more than 3 data points? And the doctor said that they were trying to induce some kind of a tumor in the brain of mice. So take a healthy mouse and induce a tumor. Now obviously the mouse is going to die. And IRB, Institutional Review Board, will not allow you to sacrifice more than X number of animals, even bees. Honey bees, there's a lot of research going on and you have to take permission. How many honey bees I can sacrifice? Now you may be wondering, why do you have to sacrifice? Sometimes the research itself that unless you kill the bee or the animal, that you will not be able to do the experiment and take a release. Lawyers, they need help all the time. Medical doctors, if you consult with them, generally they don't pay you anything. And you should not be expecting any pay from them. Lawyers, when they call you and need help, I think you need to bill them. I never do free work for law firms. I can do free work for medical doctors, but not for law firms. Biotech companies, again, they are in business to make money. So why shouldn't you be paid handsomely from that? Government agencies, a lot of times they need your help. There's somebody who is cheating the state. State also has vendors. State gets some work done through these vendors, and sometimes the vendors will overbill the state, and you are helping the state by trying to take a look at the data that was generated. Local high schools, well, you can get engaged with them, or our university, our department, we are heavily engaged with area high school, and in a little bit I'll tell you about how that engagement happens. I was listening this morning, somebody complaining that, well, we don't get too many students in our undergraduate courses, whereas some programs, they get a lot of students. And that's the reason is that you don't engage with area high schools. Engage with them, get connected to them. And then those students, they start coming to your program. Ethics. That's a very important part when you engage with the community. It shouldn't be all about money. I think there should be some ethical considerations. When you go to a lawyer, the lawyer's main objective is to win you the case, rightly or wrongly. They want to win the case for you. If you committed a crime, they want to get you off the hook. If there's something else going on, the lawyer is working for you. But when I work with, even with the lawyers, I tell them that don't blame me if my analysis finds out that no, you are on the losing side. I'm going to tell you. And don't expect me to go to the court and start twisting the facts. I cannot do that. So you have to find a different control thing, but I'll explain to you as to what the drawbacks are in your argument. So, and then engaging with the campus community, there's never a money angle, at least visibly, there is no money that changes hand. If I'm consulting with a professor, I'm not expecting the professor to give me $1,000 or whatever for my help, but I do expect that professor, if he's writing a paper, and my collaboration actually helped a lot, then maybe I should be included as a co-author, if nothing else, maybe